All right, so here we have the Great Pyramid of Egypt. And when it comes to the Great Pyramid, the biggest problem we have when trying to solve the mystery, the biggest hurdle we have to overcome are Egyptologists. They're the fucking problem. The biggest fucking problem we have is Egyptologists, all right? Because Egyptologists think they have the answer for everything in Egypt. Everything that's going on in ancient Egypt, they have the fucking answer to. You want to know? Okay, anyone listening who wants to be an Egyptologist, I'm going to help you out right now, okay? All you have to do is remember these words. Tomb, temple, manpower. Boom, you're a fucking Egyptologist. Thank you. Fucking congratulations. You can give me fucking $30,000 because I fucking saved you for college, all right? Because that's their fucking answers for everything. Oh, what's that? That's a tomb. Oh, okay, what about that? That's a temple. How they do it? Manpower. That's it. That's a fucking answer for everything, okay? If it's not a simple answer for them to be able to comprehend, they don't go with it, all right? And if you actually look into their answers and try to follow up on them, you see that they actually go nowhere and they have no validity to them. They don't hold any water. Now, I'm going to try to break some of these down for you, okay? So you guys can see how full of shit some of these guys actually are, all right? So when it comes to the Great Pyramid, in the year 800, Al-Mamun, the caliphate of the Arabian army, he led his men to the pyramid and broke into it, okay? He spent 6 months with his entire army breaking into the pyramid. And when he got inside, what did he find? Nothing. It was butt fucking empty. There wasn't fucking anything in there. In fact, Al-Mamun had to hide his own gold within the pyramid so his men could find it. That way they would spare his life, okay? Because it's like, yeah, you know, caliphate or not, you motherfucker, we just spent 6 months breaking into this bitch. We need to get paid, all right? So he's like, fuck, my own fucking gold because I'm going to be fucked here. There was nothing in it. There was nothing in the pyramid, all right? Now, let me ask you guys something. Now, what do Egyptologists say? How do they explain this? Okay, they say, "Oh, well, it was broken into before a couple times." Oh, okay. So that's the answer. That's when he broke into it. Well, that's why there was no gold or anything because, you know, it was already broken into. All right. So let me ask you this: why did they seal it back up? What burglar breaks into a house, kicks down a fucking door, steals a flat screen, and then on his way out goes, you know what? I better hang this door back up on its hinges. That was rude of me. I'm going to wipe this footprint off. Who the fuck does that? Nobody does that. That's fucking retarded. See, they just stopped right there. They go, oh, yeah, someone else broke into it. So they just stop right there. Well, fucking follow up on the question. Think about it. Why was it sealed back up? It was completely sealed. So you're telling me they spent the time to fucking put all the giant fucking 2-ton bricks back in fucking place? Fuck no. Now let me ask you this. They say this is a sarcophagus. So, and they're like, yeah, the king was in here. The pharaoh was in there and they broke him out. What's all that chipping around there? Oh, all that chipping is where they broke off the lid so they could steal the body of the pharaoh for some reason. Their whole plan, their whole idea, they're basing it off of that. That the pharaoh was in there and they came in, broke through the fucking lid and stole the pharaoh's body. Now, we have to look into if we follow up on it and we look into the details of the question and look at the evidence at hand, you're going to come to a different conclusion, all right? Like I certainly have. Let's take, for instance, these marks. Why are they there? Why did they have to keep chipping at that to get the lid off? Does that make any sense to you guys? Look at it. It's chipped all the way to the bottom, right to the floor. What the fuck does that have to do with the lid? Why was some asshole sitting there beating on that to get the lid off? Does that make the slightest bit of fucking sense? Does it? Does it really? No. Fuck no, it doesn't. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Not to mention the fact that all the other pyramids contain the same thing, and they actually, all the coffers look exactly the same. Like the same effect happened to them. Like it just so happens that, you know, each fucking burglar broke in and stole the fucking lid and did all this shit and broke it through everything and had the same exact effect happen every time. Give me a fucking break, people. That's ridiculous. Then let me ask you this. So they break in, they get into the pyramid, they break open the lid, they fucking get the pharaoh's body, they take off with it. Let me ask you, why did they steal the lid? Because as we all know, there was nothing found in the Great Pyramid. There was no lid. So you're telling me they took the lid as well? These guys were so fucking greedy, and they're like, I gotta have the fucking lid too, Jesus Christ. I don't care if it's broken apart. I need that fucking chunk of lid. No fucking way. They stole the lid? They stole the fucking broken up pieces of lid. Really? Really? Fuck no. Give me a fucking break. I mean, and then let me ask you this. Where are the magical inscriptions that would ensure safe passage for the king's soul to travel to heaven, to the stars? Where are they? Now, every other mummy in Egypt, every other tomb has these magical inscriptions. All right? Every fucking tomb has them. Except this one. In fact, the Great Pyramid has no inscriptions. Zero. None. Not one. No inscriptions on the entire, the greatest building that mankind has ever achieved. And there's not a single inscription anywhere on it. Nothing. Not on the outside, not on the inside, nowhere. There's not a single hieroglyph anywhere on the pyramid. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay? If you go to Egypt and you look around, you can plainly see they loved writing on shit. They wrote on fucking everything. Everything. Except for this. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Now, who does a pyramid belong to? They say Khufu because of this right here. This is the cartouche, supposedly, of Khufu. All right? They found this above the king's chamber in a hidden space, hidden above the king's chamber. Now, I want to point something out to you guys. This is a royal cartouche. That is a royal cartouche. These are royal cartouches right here. All of these. Royal cartouche. Have you noticed anything different yet? Is anything sticking out to you guys yet? Here's a whole list of them, okay? Of the kings that we know for a fact. Does anything stick out to you? The cartouche is written wrong. And it blows my mind that nobody has stepped up and said, okay, well, yeah, it might say, no, it doesn't say fucking Khufu because it's not written properly. It's backwards, okay? It wouldn't work like that. It doesn't make any sense, okay? I mean, tell me what the reason why is because the man who discovered it was an Egyptologist who was dying for a big discovery. All right, and needed more money for, you know, he wanted his university, his dig for another year, another season or whatever, but he hadn't found anything good and they needed something to go on. And now he comes out with the, oh, well, guess what? I found out who the pyramid belongs to. It belongs to Khufu. Well, it's in this secret room up above like the attic of the king's chamber, technically. And it's written in paint. Okay, it's not even inscribed in there. Now, does that make any fucking sense to anybody else? That's where they would have it put. And not only that, it's not written in the Egyptian style for a king. It is written like a modern Westerner was attempting to write it. Because that's how it would make sense to us to write it like that. But not to the Egyptians. That's not how you... They do everything they can to fucking stop people from knowing the truth. And the reason why they do everything they can to stop people from knowing the truth is because they don't want to look like they were wrong this entire time. Which in fact they were. Okay? Egyptians, the people who are there now, are Arabs, all right? And Arabs did not build the pyramids. Arabs had nothing to do with the Egyptians, all right? The only thing the Arabs had to do with the Egyptians is getting their fucking asses handed to them. That's it, all right? Egypt is an acquired land. It was acquired. They took it over. That's what happened, all right? And I don't give a fuck what anybody says, all right? And I don't care what your feelings are on this, because the evidence is clear as fucking day. And so we have to just call it like it is, all right? The very first civilization to build massive pyramids, the very first civilization to come up with writing and all these new techniques and stuff, and to sail around the world and shit, were black men, okay? That's who did it. The first great civilization were black men. Okay, it wasn't Europeans, it wasn't Westerners, or it wasn't Asians. It was black men. Okay, black men from Africa did all this. Now I know it's hard for some fucking people to understand. And say, oh, well, there's no way a black man can. Yes, they fucking can, because they did. All right, as simple as that. Now they can. The people who have taken over Egypt, they want it to be theirs. They want to claim it as theirs, but it's not theirs. That's why they can't give you the answers to stuff, because they don't know. It's not their history. They don't know. They act like they've been there the whole time. They haven't. All right? It's not theirs. It belongs to the black man. And I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That's the fucking truth. All right, so we're going to have to cut it short now because it's running long, and, you know, I want to make sure that you guys actually watch the video. So if it's too long, no one will even fucking watch it. So we're going to cut it short, but I will leave you guys with what the next episode is going to be about, and it's going to continue the Egyptian narrative, but this time through the words of Herodotus. All right, not some Egyptologist, but fucking Herodotus, the world's first historian. In fact, the word history is derived from his name. All right, so history, Herodotus, they go together, and his telling of Egypt and the ancient times and stuff, which was his time, so it was really, he was just telling the narrative of his day and everything, is so vastly different and incredible. It's fucking mind-blowing. It's so fucking cool. We're gonna get into all the cool shit about ancient Egypt and all the other different cultures and shit, and see what someone, you know, he was a fair and balanced reporter, you know, basically, is what it came down to. He was like the world's first journalist. But when it comes to ancient Egypt, there's so many things that people just simply don't know, and whether or not, you know, it's the Egyptologists speak about it or not, that's fucking irrelevant. What matters is if you can get some testimony from someone who was there. I find that stuff a little more credible. I don't know about you, but some of the shit that we're going to get into is going to be like the giants of the Ice Age, the oldest. Who did the Egyptians think were the oldest out of all the races of people? Because at first they thought it was them, and then they realized through a test that there is a race that is even older than they are, and we're going to find out who. And we're going to deal with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. We're going to deal with the fountain of youth. I mean, all these things is stuff that Herodotus brings up in one way or another, but never in a sense like, you know, he's just pulling crap out of his fucking ass. He's real serious when he writes down, you know, what he talks about. Giant sloths. I mean, the Ice Age is going to have a lot to do with it, because you got to remember, we came directly out of the Ice Age when it was nothing but megaflora and megafauna that ruled the entire planet. Then all of a sudden, here we come, and I mean, it lends credence to the fact of the possibility that there were giants or larger than men back then. I mean, everything, the flora, we had megaflora and megafauna back then, and you know, so we're going to get into that narrative too and see what we can't dig up. Herodotus is going to talk about the winged serpents that he found their skeletons of, and the description of the actual phoenix, a bird he had never seen but heard it was true. And we're going to get into the crystal coffins. All right, and it's going to be fucking bad. All right, so I expect everyone to fucking be there. You guys make All right, so make sure you like and subscribe. Like I've said a million times, I have the best subscribers in the world. I fucking love you guys. You guys fucking rock all the way. And so make sure to keep on the lookout for part 3 coming up. All right, UFO proof out. All right, I got a cool little hack for everybody today. Have you ever came across an image on Google that you wanted to use for a project or something, but it had these stupid little fucking watermarks from Shutterstock or Getty's Images or whatever, Dreamline, any of that shit? Well, guess what? I'm going to show you guys how to get those same images without the fucking watermarks, without having to pay for them, none of that fucking bullshit, because we do it the cheap, broke ass way, like I'm fucking used to. All right, so let's take this image right here, okay? Because I was doing some stuff on Egypt earlier and I saw this. Okay, so here, we're gonna try this one right here. So what you do is we're gonna click on it. Okay, it's got a big ass fucking watermark on it. Well, that's no good. We want to get rid of that, so this is what we'll do. Okay, we're gonna search Google for it. Okay, all right, so then once you find it, once it pops up, you're going to come back down and then just go over a few, like in the middle, whatever amount of number they have, like just go somewhere in the middle of them. All right, so let's take this one right here. We're going to do it again, search it again, all right? And we're just going to click on the thumbnail. And boom. There we go. No fucking watermark. See that? You save it. Bam, same image, no fucking watermark. Simple, easy peasy, right? Fuck all these stupid stock images and shit. It's like, how do you own the fucking image when there's 5 other companies claiming they fucking own the image, all right? Which means none of you own the image. You're just trying to sell it. So they're trying to sell the image, and if they get it sold, well, then they get a cut of the fucking money, all right? That's all it is. So that's a little tricky, guys. Just keep searching the image and follow up with just multiple Google searches of the image, and you'll eventually find one where has no watermark. So there you go. It was butt fucking empty. There wasn't fucking anything in there. In fact, Alma Moon had to hide his own gold within the pyramid so his men could find it. That way they would spare his life, okay? Because it's like, yeah, caliphate or not, you motherfucker, we just spent 6 months breaking into this bitch. We need to get paid, all right? So he's like, fuck, I my own fucking gold because I'm going to be fucked here. There was nothing in it. There was nothing in the pyramid. Well, how they do it? Manpower. That's it. That's a fucking answer for everything, okay? If it's not a simple answer for them to be able to comprehend, they don't go with it, all right? And if you actually look into their answers and try to follow up on them, you see that they actually go nowhere and they have no validity to them. They don't hold any water. Now, I'm going to try to break some of these down for you, okay? So you guys can see in ancient Egypt, they have the fucking answer to. You want to know, okay, anyone listening who wants to be an Egyptologist, I'm going to help you out right now, okay? All you have to do is remember these words. Tomb, temple, manpower. Boom, you're a fucking Egyptologist. Thank you. Fucking congratulations. You can give me fucking $30,000 because I fucking saved you for college, all right? Because that's their fucking answers for everything. Oh, what's that? That's a tomb. Oh, okay, what about that? That's a temple. How full of shit some of these guys actually are, all right? So when it comes to the Great Pyramid, in the year 800, Al-Mamun, the caliphate of the Arabian army, he led his men to the pyramid and broke into it, okay? He spent 6 months with his entire army breaking into the pyramid. And when he got inside, what did he find? Nothing. All right, so here we have the Great Pyramid of Egypt. And when it comes to the Great Pyramid, the biggest problem we have when trying to solve the mystery, the biggest hurdle we have to overcome are Egyptologists. They're the fucking problem. The biggest fucking problem we have is Egyptologists, all right? Because Egyptologists think they have the answer for everything in Egypt. Everything that's going